I think you all know that I have a complicated relationship with South Park. I thought that reviewing Veronica Mars in my early days would be controversial, but that was nothing compared to what happened when I dared make my list of worst South Park episodes for my 99th TV trash. I still get comments on the YouTube promo for the review using every nasty epithet in the book for daring to call out such a sacred cartoon show. As I've said before, my stance has since softened on the show due to having found other adult animated shows far worse in thinking that shock humor is the pinnacle of comedy, and I've shown that there have been episodes that I think were actually done well after all. However, there do remain certain South Park episodes that, even when taking the shock humor out of the equation, are ones that I just feel are not well done at all. And yes, for this video, we're taking a look at one of the ones that is not on my list of approval. Die, Hippie, Die, which just barely missed making the cut on that list of worst episodes. There's really only one thing about the episode that got stuck in my craw, and it's not as big as the poop jokes and stuff, which is why it just missed the cut, but I'll get there when we get there. For now, let's get started. The episode begins with Cartman making house calls around the city as an exterminator. An exterminator of hippies. And no, this is not his latest plan to make $10 million.
Oh my. These are what we call the giggling stoners. Pretty common form of hippie, usually found in the attics. Yep, that's what I thought. See that? You've got a drum circle in your backyard.
Hey, Eric, for all you know, those could just be that 70s show cosplayers.
Ma'am, I need to clear out your giggling stoners and your drum circle hippies right now, or soon they're gonna attract something much worse.
What's that?
The college know-it-all hippies.
And as he's saying that, sure enough, some hippies show up from the University of Colorado. And I will say that Cartman has reason to be worried there, because Boulder can be a pretty freaky town. I mean, that's one of the places where the aliens turn up.
Would you like to help young people like us by purchasing a subscription of your choice?
You're playing into the corporate game. See, the corporations are trying to turn you into little Eichmanns so that they can make money.
The government is using its corporate ties to make you sell magazines so they can get rich.
No, you guys have it all wrong. It's the people who trick you into selling credit card merchant accounts. Those are the ones you need to watch out for.
What do we do?
Just hang with us for a bit. We'll fill you in on everything you haven't been told.
Wait, I think I've seen this story before. The hippies are pretty much replacing a street gang, aren't they? Yeah, Trey and Matt are just now stealing from every after-school special from the 80s. So while the other kids are getting put under the irresistible force known as hippie peer pressure, Cartman is keeping hippies trapped in his basement, and I don't think I want to know where this is headed, do I?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong is that there's more of you showing up every day, and I need to find out why. 3 new drum circles have sprouted up here, here, and here. They're all growing in diameter at a rate of 2 hippies per hour. What this means is that the hippies are conglomerating. They're binding, if you will. I think that they're setting up for a hippie music festival. In my professional opinion, I think we're looking at a full-blown hippie jam fest the size of which we've never seen.
Oh my god, the hippies are gonna torture the townspeople to death by constantly playing music by the monkeys!
Eric, we're talking about potholes right now, okay?
It's not potholes you need to worry about. It's potheads.
And you all think that marijuana smoke is all harmless, but you don't know what happens when it turns into full-on pot smog! We are talking much more damage than every Quick Trip being sold out of Doritos! Of course, not only does Cartman fail to convince the city council, but then Officer Barr Brady arrests him for kidnapping all of those hippies. I question how he knew Cartman had them down there, but I'm guessing he's been searching basements for years now out of paranoia ever since Stan's mom locked him in one.
Mayor, I've confirmed the data. The hippies are going to have a massive jam band concert.
I signed a permit allowing them to have their concert here. Their little festival should pump some money into our economy.
They're hippies. They don't have any money.
Hey, Cartman, it's still probably a better chance than if they built a stadium for an NFL team.
Thousands of people have descended on South Park for a hippie music jam festival. The event is said to be the largest such gathering in the history of man.
Yeah, see, they say this is bad, but when this happens all the time at a racetrack, it's all okay. And no, this isn't really shocking me because I saw what happened to Kansas City after the Royals won the World Series.
Don't forget that we were both considered hippies back in the 60s.
Yeah, but when we did it, we actually stood for something. I mean, remember Woodstock, Sharon? We actually did something there.
I have chosen to not show the footage of two people humping in their own vomit. Yes, I know this is a Patreon exclusive, but even I still have my standards. Instead, here's a clip of something else that took place at Woodstock.
Skippy, what's the name of that group playing on stage?
Who?
The name of the group.
Who?
The group on stage.
Who?
The group playing on stage.
Who?
You're starting to sound like an owl, Skippy.
Fear and horror in South Park today as the music festival continues to grow.
South Park is now hippie capital of the world!
Don't worry, she'll get better. So now everyone in town realizes Cartman was right after all and have to turn to him to save what's left of the city. Naturally, this is Eric's opportunity to milk the ungrateful townspeople for all they're worth.
Don't think that you can buy me with presents. Unless, of course, it's the new Tonka radio-controlled play bulldozer.
You got a lot to learn about how to hold people for ransom, kid.
Kyle doesn't get to have one, ever. And he has to watch me drive mine around the school parking lot and get super jealous.
Okay, now that's the evil Cartman I know.
The Hippie Jam Band Festival is now 14 miles in diameter and 500,000 hippies thick.
Give or take a few thousand because the animators are lazy.
If we can reach the stage, we can upload this Slayer CD into their music system. I've designed a vehicle that can bore its way through even the densest hippie crowd.
You know, you probably could parachute down onto the stage from above. Are you afraid that the Nazgul are going to intercept you on their flying beasts or something? Yeah, this episode has a plot hole that's worse than what everyone keeps yelling about in Lord of the Rings.
I need a complete team to operate this vehicle. Along with me, I'm gonna need a scientist, an engineer, and of course, a black person who can sacrifice himself in case something goes wrong.
Ha ha! Using a racist character to call out racism in movies. Hopefully Trey and Matt will never do something like maybe, I don't know, kill off their only black character in a horrifically cruel way. So I'm guessing Cartman's plan is, I think, a parody of Armageddon or insert name of disaster film here. So I eagerly await Michael Bay filing suit against him. Oh wait, Michael Bay's not a Scientologist so he can take criticism better. While all this is going on, the other kids are starting to think these hippies really aren't doing anything.
Right now, we're proving we don't need corporations. We don't need money. This can become a commune where everyone just helps each other. Can't you imagine a place where people live together and, like, provide services for each other in exchange for their services?
Yeah, it's called a town.
And this is where I take the most issue with the episode, because I hate to admit it, but the hippies are still making sense here. What they basically seem to be saying is that they dream of an idealistic world with a homogenized society that provides for one another simply out of the desire to help each other and not for profit. And they've kind of succeeded in doing that. Now, the problem here is that they've done this at the expense of taking over the land in South Park. They're essentially squatting on someone else's property. But even then, the argument doesn't really hold up because the mayor agreed to let them squat here. So unless there's something like a time limit in the contract she signs, no one really has any legal recourse here against the hippies. They pretty much asked for this. I think the only real thing they could do is move the town about 10 miles away. What? They've ripped off the Simpsons before. So Cartman and his team get ready to stop the hippie Armageddon, and I will give this story credit for not shoehorning in a love story with Liv Tyler that no one wanted to see. Just hints at a very uncomfortable relationship that Cartman seems to have with his stuffed animals. Geez, not even my relationship with the Ninja Cats is that freaky.
We're coming up on the outer perimeter of the hippies. Hang on.
Oh, wait, did you actually think that they were going to drill underground and thus underneath everyone? Oh, you silly geese, this is South Park! Of course there's going to be mass death and carnage if Trey and Matt have the opportunity to put it in.
They're in.
All right. Yeah.
We did it.
What'd I tell you? A gunshot through the head means nothing when you have no brains. So we get the inevitable scene of something going wrong with the drill, leading to Chef having to have his sacrifice for the team moment. He'll get better. And they make their way to the stage where Cartman can detonate his musical nuke, even though it shouldn't work because they wrecked the speakers when they crashed into the stage.
Give me my laptop!
I'm actually surprised that he didn't play something like Celine Dion, but I guess the message here was to insult the hippies for not liking the music, and rather than when they're trying to insult the artists. So the hippies all disperse, all the main characters survive because it's not 2006 yet. The town has to prepare cleanup on the 537th disaster to ever hit it, and Cartman gets the ultimate revenge on Kyle.
Oh man, this is awesome! Whee! Oh, here, Kyle, you want to play with it a little while?
Man, Cartman's really been more lenient on his foes ever since Scott Tenorman. So yeah, this episode. I get that maybe they were trying for a bad parody of over-budgeted Michael Bay-style disaster movies, but just the fact that they seem to try to throw in a less than subtle jab at the hippie lifestyle just gets to me because it doesn't make sense. South Park can do a good job at criticizing any different facet of society, but they just dropped the ball on this one. Though it does make me wonder if Trey Parker has ever or ever will dare to put an episode out making fun of libertarians. But I don't know if they could ever do a worse job at sending a social message than what they did with this. Oh crap in heaven!